Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars Skeleton Crew breakdown. Episode 3 just came out, very interesting as an astrogation problem, that is the name of the episode, and so much was hinted at, so much was revealed, and I'm gonna break it all down. Later in the video we're gonna look at some Easter eggs, but the topic that is at the center of this one, and I guess the entire show, is the planet of the children, Attin. The mystery deepens. I had so many theories this week, and one of them, my main one, may have more credibility than you think. So let's dive straight in. As we know, the children broke through the barrier. They discovered the mysterious onyx cinder, SM-33 was reactivated, and they can't find their way home. Attin is sheltered, it's hidden, it has been for many years by a network known as the Great Work. You can't find it on a star map, but what the children learned very quickly is that everyone outside their planet only knows it as a legend, the lost planet of eternal treasures, and very few believe it exists. One of the people who does though is Jodnar Narwood, also known as Captain Silvo, who was the leader of Brutus's crew, who also possesses the Force. But the children don't know if his intentions of helping them get home are genuine, what's in it for him, and is he really a Jedi? More on this in just a moment. But the episode opens on Attin. The parents of the children are so worried, this has never happened before, and the opening shots of sunrise on Attin are so dystopian and so eerie. They're waiting on an update from the supervisor, who we still haven't met, and like I said guys, I have a feeling someone is exploiting the planet. The real force behind it is evil. Once upon a time the Great Work was a noble project, one that shielded the world from real threats. But in the years since, I think something or someone has exploited that, one for their own financial gain, and my prediction, it's the Imperial Remnant, someone in the Shadow Council pretending to be from the Republic of old, because Attin missed the war, revealed in the conversation between the children and Kim later in the episode. The children learnt about Coruscant and Alderaan, and Kim laughs, saying that they've missed the war. Since they don't know that Alderaan was destroyed by the Empire that just fell, it means they never knew the Empire existed, which also means they believe the Republic from prior to Order 66 is still in power. They have no idea there was a galactic civil war. And I should also reiterate, John Watts confirmed in a recent interview in the show when they say Old Republic, they don't mean the old Republic. They're talking about the Republic of the prequel trilogy. But we still don't know how long the Great Work has been in place. If it was a jewel to the Jedi, the question is why? What is the treasure that is there? Presumably, the value of old currency. Fans have had theories about kyber crystals, certain materials, but something of note is it's just one of the jewels of the Old Republic, and the others have been destroyed. Attin is the only one left, and this begs the question, was Attin responsible for the demise of the other planets? Did they want to preserve their own safety above others? Is Attin's treasure a culmination of the riches of all the other planets? Did the leaders hoard it for themselves? And now there's something more sinister going on, and you can tell all of this just from the dialogue. It sounds like a complete and utter police state, not a society that cares about its citizens. And isn't it a huge red flag that the security droid on behalf of the supervisor said they don't want to do anything because they don't want to risk contact with the outside world? What are they hiding? And it dawned upon the kids later in the episode that what their parents do for a living is very rigid, very much centered around the security of Attin. Even something one of KB's mum says is rather jarring. She mentions a life monitor, which sounds like a tracking device, but I'd say in KB's case, this is really more of an explanation of her cybernetic, and one of her parents also mentions that she has urgent medical needs. Is that going to be important further down the line? And even Fern's mum, Undersecretary Farah, has a very similar story. When she was little, on Attin, everything was supervised. What I'm trying to say is, something strange and sinister is going on. And just to be a bit more speculative with the overarching Mandoverse story, just earlier we had a massive update for the Mandalorian and Grogu. One of the Imperial Remnant Shadow Council members is now confirmed for the 2026 Jon Favreau movie. The Imperial Warlord played by Johnny Coyne in The Mandalorian's 3rd season is making a return, and he said something in the 7th episode titled The Spies that relates to something in the opening crawl of this show. He spoke of opportunities in the plundering hyperspace lanes. So, like I said, is there a connection to the Remnant, and are they running a wider operation? Because, as we learnt in The Mandalorian, are they desperate for funds? So on with the rest of the episode. On Port Borgo, Jod and the children make an escape. What is evident is he has the Force. I don't think it's just tricks, but he's not a Jedi. He repeats Jedi-like sentences as if he's heard of them. I reckon he's the child of an Order 66 survivor, or he knew someone who was once a Jedi. He's got basic, shaky abilities like Force Push, and he's only using it to impress the kids. But he's a wanted criminal. Even the New Republic is after him. And wasn't it awesome seeing X-Wings? And one of his nicknames is Crimson Jack, who by the way is a separate character in Star Wars canon further down the timeline closer to the sequel trilogy. It's also a character from Legends, but I don't think in this instance there is any relation. So before they make their escape, the kids urge him, go back and retrieve the droid SM-33, who was left behind. And as he's going through the various droids trying to identify them, trying to find the one with the rat in his eye, there are a couple of familiar faces. The first one he activates is a CZ droid, familiar to any fan of A New Hope. Then a protocol droid who insists, the prince is in danger, I must save the prince. And finally, a Clone Wars era B1 battle droid, who asks him, did we win? Presumably referring to his side, the Separatists, and the Clone Wars. Finally he finds SM-33, but is spotted by his old crewmate, an Ishi Tib, voiced by Doc Ock himself. Alfred Molina. What an iconic voice. Another Easter egg is the mention of parsecs, a unit of distance, first mentioned by Han Solo. Also when talking about the purpose of the Jedi, Wim recites the same line from Obi-Wan in A New Hope, that the Jedi were the guardians of peace and justice. Also guarding Kim's place is a galaxy-renowned droid series, the Tattletale Gatekeeper droid, the TT-8L. Now even though John Narnarwood promised he was in it for the right intentions, he needs a ship. The real truth, which he reveals to the Ishi Tib, is he's after the treasure, whatever that is. We still don't know what it is that Attin possesses. I've seen some theories that it might be related to the Chiss, who were after a rare metal known as Nyx. But there is some truth to what Jod is saying. I believe him when he says he's lost, and I predict by the end of the season he will turn good. But I stand by my theory, he's after someone, not just something. He lost someone once upon a time. Maybe that's why he turned to smuggling and became a pirate to get by. So he takes them to Kim, who gives us the most information on their planets that we've had so far, but she calls the authorities the New Republic. But in the nick of time, Crimson Jack steals the coordinates. But I wonder if these coordinates are truly for Attin. Kim was stalling, and we know from the trailers they're going to visit other worlds first. Is that going to take them to a similar planet? Perhaps one of the ones assumed to be destroyed. But one thing that is very important is that Kim is about to alert the New Republic. They're about to find out one of the lost planets of the Jedi of old is still out there. And I've been thinking, that's going to be of great interest to Luke. Proto-Republic treasure worlds. Very, very interesting indeed. All but Attin were destroyed. But I'm wondering, is that true? Could it just be a diversion? And I wonder if during the time of the prequel trilogy, younglings at the Jedi Temple learned about this. I only say this because the wording Kim uses about children's stories is similar to what Baylan says in Ahsoka about Peridia. So there are some very interesting connections. And another huge hint are the numerals on the children's backpacks. Palmerish numerals being used on a Proto-Republic artifact that didn't seem to track. So something fishy is going on. Something or someone is at play on Attin, and I think the mystery is darker than the kids realise. This episode was so much fun. Like I've done with the first two, I will be making more videos going into more depth about it, but the highlight for me in this episode was the music. Mick Giacchino did a fantastic job. I'm giving this one a solid 9 out of 10. What did you guys think? And what do you think's really going on Attin? Share your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you, always.